Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Isani Caetano.
Good morning, Belize, and welcome to Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right. I am Isani Caetano.
And I'm Sabrina Daly.
And here is what our show lineup looks like for today. We're going to be joined by the JUNT Unions negotiating team as they speak on their acceptance of the 4.5% salary increase and other demands. We're also going to be celebrating 30 years of clear vision with our friends from Quartz Optical. And Loretto Pelayo joins us as he tunes in for the jazz stage. The Belize City Thunderbolts gear up for an appreciation week for their fans. And of course, Shane Orio's Football Academy kicks off the summer camp. Those are what we're going to be discussing throughout the course of our show this morning. Good morning, Sab.
Good morning, Isani. How you doing?
I'm good. We're in the middle of the week.
We are. It's a lovely...
It feels summery. You know, we're...
Really?
You know,
I beg to differ.
You don't feel like you're in a summer?
Not quite.
Man.
I mean, other than the fact that you do see the kids home around this time, I think when I kind of associate summertime with hot weather, you know, and for the most part, we've been still experiencing
Well, if it wasn't hot last night, I don't know where you're living.
Clearly, apparently not here because it was not hot for me last night. I actually got stuck over at my aunt's house.
Belize City.
Two different countries.
Yeah. But yeah, it was hot.
It was raining where I was.
Okay.
Yeah, and even this morning, it's not too hot. So I don't know. Isani is experiencing summertime. Someone take him to the Keys after the show, guys.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and it's midweek. And so happy hump day to you guys. What's the plan? Are we getting ready to go to work? Are we sending kids to summer school at this time as well? Do you have the kids partaking in summer school?
It's still very much a consideration on my part, for my son at least. My daughter is working, all right? My son, I'm still trying to figure out what we're going to do with him for the remaining, the upcoming weeks, I should put it that way. I'm thinking swimming, then there's option for volleyball.
Yeah.
But, you know, for me, academics is such a thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
So I can't just do sports. I still need to have, you know, reading and writing and other academic courses somewhere therein.
The interesting thing about summer school is there's so many options. You can put your kid in sports, you can put them in the arts, you can put them in something academic related. And of course, we've had several persons on the couch with us talking about options for families as well.
And the beauty of it is that because you have so many programs taking place over the course of the next few weeks, you could do a mix-match type of thing, right?
And some are free.
Yeah.
Some
in the
are
mornings, you could do academics. In the afternoon, you could enroll for another program where you're doing swimming or something physical or what have you. And it works.
Yeah.
Unlike the normal course where it's all, you know,
I
schoolwork.
always appreciate summertime. I think it's important for us to highlight the role that each of these nonprofit organizations or even for-profit organizations play in ensuring that our kids have something to do during the summertime to keep them active, to still have them learning in the next 2 months. And I know even the parents appreciate it as well. You know, it's one thing to have your kid occupied for 2 months and another for you to come home and your house is stormed, all the snacks are eaten, the food done, everything that you could possibly think of going wrong in the house while the parents are at work.
Here's the thing. When the parents are at work and they have not been able to enroll or engage their kids in something meaningful, the TV ends up doing the babysitting and the TV ends up raising the child, right?
You know, I'm here thinking though, Isani, in my time, it was a lot more, it was a lot different. During summertime, of course, where I lived, I have, all this land available.
Yeah,
so we
you're the
run around
outdoors.
in a yard. I used to try and make soup, make jam, all kind of thing out of fruits you find. Of course, we had our cousins by, and so that was really, really the best time for us. But times have changed. Tablets and devices are what really keeps the kids company.
And kids are more indoor these days too. I mean, it's a stark difference between where you grew up and at the time when I was growing up versus now. For the most part, I raise my kids indoor. I mean, when we're there at home, you could play outside and what have you. When no one's there, if that's the case, inside.
Well, you have some options this summer, and we hope that you guys are able to find the best thing for your children, especially since it's summertime. It's a time for them to learn some extracurricular activities as well. But we do want to move into some topics that we think you should know before you leave your homes. Starting off, the teachers topic is still very much trending. Speaking of, the teachers have said yes to GOB's proposal. Also, details have emerged of the deadly Keycocker brawl that have also been surfacing on social media for the better part of 2 days. UDP infighting continues as Paraffeed faces resistance. I understand that there will also be a UDP press conference later on this morning, and so we will be following that as well. Diddy's jury deliberations continues in New York. And the countdown to KTV The Remix Season 7 live show begins. Last night was audition night. Let us know if you tuned in. Well, Asani, let's jump straight into it. Perhaps we can begin on the international front. Or actually, let's touch on something local, because I know that people are still talking about the surveillance footage that was shared on social media as well as on the news last night as it relates to the fatal stabbing of Mr. DePaz, Kevin DePaz. This has been such an unusual story, I think, because of the way that it unfolded. It began with interactions between young men that subsequently fell into an altercation. Knives were drawn, and we understand that even off-duty police officers were involved. They're saying that they acted in self-defense.
Yes. So we always say a picture says 1,000 words, right? When we got wind of this surveillance footage yesterday, in a sense, it completely changed the tone of the narrative that is being put forward. Not by us in the media, but by other persons who would have spoken to reporters in the wake of this tragedy. So, I'll say this first, Sab. While the video that we've shown, and this has been circulated widely, shows the young man hitting the other individual and the scuffle begins there. By no means does this mean that what befell Kevin DePaz was coming to him. Let's put that aside one time.
Warranted,
Yeah, right? A lot of times people get in scuffles, fist fights. It doesn't mean that you have to be gunned down or you have to be stabbed to death or nothing, anything like that, right? But if there was a narrative that was being told prior to this video that he was not the aggressor, right? Then what we see here completely changes that storyline, because clearly Mr. DePaz is seen hitting the individual first, and then that individual is encircled by at least 2 other persons who hit him. Mr. DePaz punches him and knocks him out. That is clear. Not making that up, you're seeing it on the screen. Now what happens thereafter when the police officers reportedly step in to intervene, right? And the fact that they're saying that these individuals left and came back again, well, that's what led to the escalation. And at that point, knives were drawn. Now, it goes back to the question that I was asking yesterday, right? So you have 2 off-duty officers. Is it to say that it is perfectly okay for them to be carrying an edged instrument, right? Because, and I stand to be corrected where this all lies, right? You're off duty. Do you still have a service weapon on you? Do you say, okay, because I'm not working today, I'll just carry a pocket knife? those are my questions, right?
Yeah.
I can't speak for the other persons who are civilians who have a knife on them, but I think it's kind of unusual for me to think of a police officer with a knife, whether he or she is off duty or on the job.
I mean,
it kind of feels weird for me.
Not for me.
Okay.
For example, I mean, everyone has the right to protect themselves. I mean,
Yes,
it's
and
not
I'm not
illegal
saying
to have
no.
a pocket knife.
I'm not
And
challenging the legality
no,
of
no,
it.
no, I know. But what I'm saying is it's not, I don't find it unusual. Perhaps if they were carrying their service weapon off duty, then maybe we could speak about that. We did get a comment from the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado.
That is what is not unusual.
Yeah.
Because I have several friends in the police department who carry their weapons at all times, whether they're on duty or not on duty. Again, going back to what the commissioner says, you always have a duty to respond. So if there's an incident that happens, you're off the clock, but you're in the presence, you're witnessing or you're being called upon or what have you, you have a service weapon. That's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
What I'm not used to, as I'm saying, is that you have a knife.
I could see it going both
Yeah.
ways. I could see had these off-duty police officers carried their service weapons and fired a fatal shot, the
More than
public
likely,
could
there have been
have
warning shots.
or warning shots.
Yeah.
The public would have been outraged too, saying, you're not on duty. And of course, we would have had to follow up with the comment that we did get from the commissioner saying that no, you're still summoned to protect civilians even if you're off duty. It's
I
quite
think
an
that's what-
interesting story.
And it's purely hypothetical because we all see how this transpired.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm simply saying, I think if, for argument's sake, they had a service weapon on them, I don't know that these officers would have fired fatal shots. I think it would have been to break up the whole thing.
One of the
but
things
no, if
that-
you don't have that, you have a knife, and someone else brings a knife. A knife fight is a more intimate engagement.
Very true.
than
One of the
firing
things that
a warning
crossed my
shot.
mind while
Yeah.
watching that video and just thinking of what that moment could have been like. I mean, I imagine as well, when tensions are high like that, the last thing you're able to have is a conversation.
Yeah.
But I wondered, had these gentlemen known that they were interacting with off-duty police
Which
officers,
is the other question, and I'm glad you raised that,
would
Sab.
they have...
At any point in
the
this
police officer
altercation,
could have
did they say we're
I'm a police
off?
officer.
Exactly.
That's my first question that I had.
Yeah. Did they identify themselves at
Yeah.
any point as officers? I don't know. That remains to be answered.
At this point, some of the comments that we did get from the Assistant Superintendent Stacey Smith was that the investigation is still continuing, especially where the questions surrounding the weapons are concerned. I know that at this time we are seeing a bit more commentary from police officers even online saying that it's a sensitive situation for them when they're off duty because they're not certain, I guess, completely how to approach a situation because of the public outrage.
Here's the thing though, right? And, I've always heard this as a young man growing up, and I'm seeing it through the lens of a parent. You can't swear for your picnic, right? You can't swear for your picnic. You know why I say that? Because I've been told, hey, this young man is not a troublemaker. This young man is not a gang member. This young man is not into that, into girls and living the life. He's a young man. He's supposed to be doing that. Forgive me. The Instagram pictures were shared with me yesterday, and guns and all of these things were in. So it's hard to say Sabrina not that type of person. Sabrina calm and easy going, but then you see something else that, for all intents and purposes, tells a different story. Now again, I'm not saying that what befell him was due to him. That's not my place. I don't know what happened on the ground there. I wasn't there. But people are reacting to these images in the face of one narrative that is being told, right? And so it's unfortunate that Belizean people are very brutal.
Yeah.
If you see the comments and what have you, and the comparisons being made, Belizeans are merciless. I'll leave it at that.
I also saw this GoFundMe that was being shared online as well, where the family of Kevin DePaz is trying to raise money to get his body returned to them. And it seems like the goal of the money is outrageous too. It's like over $100,000 that they're trying to get as well.
I'm aware of the GoFundMe. I can't really speak much on it in terms of how much it would cost to get a body shipped out of Belize. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But yes, the GoFundMe account the information has been put out there for people who would want to assist in any kind of way financially.
All right, well, moving things on, things along, there is definitely another topic trending both locally and internationally, and that is the Diddy jury deliberation that is set to conclude, I believe, today.
It continues today.
Or it continues.
Yes.
We know that we are awaiting a jury outcome. This has been an ongoing trial for the better part of 2 months or so.
Yeah, 8 weeks roughly. Yes.
We've been following every single day just persons coming forward and testifying about their interaction with Sean Diddy Combs, having to do with several charges being placed against him, including sex trafficking, racketeering, drug trafficking even. And, you know, I've been following for the most part, the most of the trial, and the finality of it, having his attorneys describe his interaction or his situation with Cassie, who initially really started all of this as a modern love story. You know, I'm not sure I would have quite put it that way, but I have to give it to his attorneys. They really are trying to do everything that they possibly can to, one, have him walk free, because really what's on the line is life in prison.
Yeah, okay, so let me start with the modern love story part, right? Lawyers would say anything to spin.
Yeah. You know, that's what I said. They're doing what they need to do.
But it's almost as if though they would be normalizing some of the events that happened with this particular, within this particular case, right? Yeah. And I think what struck me, I was following the case as much as anyone else, and somewhere therein, okay, so we accept that he's an abuser, right? Bad as that is, he's guilty of, because you see the videos and what have you.
They said this is about domestic violence.
Yes, but you have not been able to prove that he is engaged in wholesale racketeering. And the fact that he was not acting alone in this, he has an entire enterprise, right? Because for you to be able to prove that, you know, this individual is in violation of the RICO statute, you have to be able to establish that he wasn't acting alone. There may have been what is called joint enterprise, right? But to where we are at present, so they were deadlocked, the jury was deadlocked yesterday on four of 5 of the counts. Right? So everything crashed yesterday, they have to come back again today. But the judge is hoping to wrap things up by the 4th of July, which is Friday. Right? So right now we're in the edges of our seat following this thing, because in my mind I'm waiting to hear guilty or not guilty.
Yeah, I thought I was going to hear that from yesterday.
Either way, Diddy's done.
Yeah.
If they find him guilty of 1 count, of the 5, he could still very well be facing life in prison if it's the most serious of the charges brought against him. At minimum would be 10 years on the lesser end, right? But that aside, the effect of this all has completely shattered his legacy.
Yeah.
So even if he walks scot-free, he better, you know, go into, you know,
go to Asia or something.
Something.
Yeah.
Because everything that has been divulged so far, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think about his
Amazing.
family as well. You know, his children have been there at the court supporting him through this entire time. And you're right when you say that if he walks free or not, he's still going to bear the repercussions of his actions simply because of public perception.
And if you think cancel culture is a thing, right? He may not necessarily be relying on the small people in society and what they think. When you look at corporate America, where he would have made his money, they don't want to be engaged with somebody who,
with
exactly.
That, yeah, you know?
Exactly.
And if you really think about,
he's still facing a mountain of civil suits outside of this criminal one. So if you're looking at the fact that he has so much money and power. If he escapes from this one, the avalanche is waiting for him elsewhere. That chips into his money because he has to be fighting off these cases and what have you in the civil court. All of that. Yeah.
And you know, I was going to say, as an artist or as a musician, one of the things that and even athletes, we know that what also makes them money are brand deals.
Yeah.
And so it's important that they have, you know, a level of appeal to the public, because that's why they would be ambassadors in the
And that's
first
what I'm
place.
saying in terms of the corporate relationships. All of these big businesses have drawn distance from him. So you're not going to put him as the poster boy of a big brand.
Yeah, not Ciroc.
With all of this behind you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
All right, well, moving things along, I know that most of you guys were tuning in last night for auditions of KTV The Remix Season 7, where we saw several Belizeans from across the country take the stage here on Coney Drive to share their talents with you guys. I know that it was super, super exciting for a lot of us, because I feel like KTV The Remix Isani has presented itself as just that entertainment show in the country that we all get prepared for. We want the family and friends to come by. I saw people yesterday evening posting online saying they done got their snacks ready. It's about to be exciting. And we did see some new faces. We also saw some returning faces as well. But ultimately, only a few of these persons that auditioned will be making it to the live stage come next week, Tuesday. Quite an exciting time. And of course, this all is in an effort to win $10,000. But they cannot do it alone. They will need your support through the entire season. Please remember that not because your cousin or your friend or your auntie could sing that is enough. They do need your buy-in and your support. This is how we say you get your way.
I think and I listened to the interview that the producer shared yesterday with us. It is not just about support. It is also about being able to bring true talent to the forefront.
Yes.
Because I've been following KTV for some time in terms of the outcomes and what have you, and at some point it sort of became a popularity issue as opposed to a real talent show. So I'm glad that we're now putting the focus once again on talent, right? And with that being said, I'm looking forward to next week. You know, yesterday's one was good. This is the auditions, but next week is when they actually take to the bliss and, you know, make things happen in real time.
Yeah, and please come out and show your support in person. I know that a lot of people enjoy having their little watch parties at home, but I have to tell you that it's a completely different experience when you're able to be there live and in person at the Bliss. There's also giveaways that takes place, so you're able to get much more than just a real fantastic entertainment. You're able to experience the in-person energy. You know, it's completely different. And so we encourage you guys to purchase your tickets. They're only 25 cents. And of course, come on out and support your favorite contestant. We do want to move things along, though, Isane. We have a Facebook poll that we want to also encourage you guys to take part in. We have been speaking of the 4.5% salary increase proposal from the government. And so this morning's poll question to you is, do you think the 4.5 salary increase is enough to match Belize's current cost of living? The answer is yes, no, or other. This, of course, is on our Facebook page. That's Open Your Eyes BZ. Again, the question is, do you think the 4.5 salary increase is enough to match Belize's current cost of living? Let us know on Facebook. Let's move things along, though. As we mentioned, we have a weather update for you, courtesy the folks at the National Meteorological Service. Alrighty, well, this morning's weather forecast will call for a few cloudy spells today and partly cloudy tonight, except for a few showers or isolated thunderstorms over the southern districts this morning and tonight. Showers will also be isolated. Let's jump into our temperatures today. The coastal areas will be experiencing highs of 87 degrees Fahrenheit with a low of 82 degrees Fahrenheit, so not too far from each other. Inland, however, will be experiencing highs of up to 93 degrees Fahrenheit, but also a low of 75 degrees Fahrenheit. In the hills, it's promising to be much cooler with a high of 78 and a low of 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Our extended forecast Thursday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday calls for highs of 88 during the evening times and also highs of 94, 95, 93 and 92 during the nighttime as well. So generally consistent weather patterns. We do know that for the most part the evenings tend to be cooler though. And in our astronomical forecast, the sun rose this morning at 5:22 a.m. and it's set to set at 6:31 p.m. The moon will rise at 11:51 a.m. and is set to set at 11:52 p.m. Our marine conditions, the sea state is choppy and the winds are blowing from east to 10 to 20 knots. The tides, today's tide there will be a low tide at 9:54 a.m. and a high tide at 3:19 p.m. Another low tide will be at 9:48 p.m. and tomorrow another high at 3:50 a.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather, courtesy the folks from the National Meteorological Service. Isani, back to you.
All right, thanks, Sabrina. When we come back, we're going to be joined in studio by the members of the Joint Unions negotiating team as they join us to discuss the 4.5% salary increase amidst other demands being made by the unions. You don't want to miss that conversation. We'll be back shortly.
Christian Palma. I'm the owner of CRK Services and I've been operating this business for 7 years in Big Falls, Toledo District. I use the Belize Bank online services because it's quite fast, reliable and easy. Before I started to use the Belize Bank online services, I had to make a lot of trips into town, which cost me a lot, especially fuel. So the fact that I have to use my credit card every day, I can do an online instant payment and make my life easy. My customers can do payments towards me and it reaches in instant. It's fast, it's convenient for my business. I don't have to be up and down. I can do it anywhere I want. I would recommend you using the Belize Bank online services because for you, it will save you a lot of time.
The temperatures are rising, but the prices are dropping fast. From beach days to backyard barbecues, Cellular World has everything you need to stay connected, entertained, and ahead of the curve. Crank up the music with JBL speakers. Watch every play in a crystal clear action on a new Samsung TV, or stay productive with reliable Dell devices, all from your trusted authorized distributor. How low can you go? Try smartphones just for $119, tablets at $129, TVs starting at only $379. Gadgets, computers, printers, appliances, and office equipment at the best price. Visit us today at your favorite Cellular World location, Belize City, Belmopan, Orange Walk, or San Pedro, and find great deals, trusted brands, and a summer you will never forget.
Welcome to Design Depot, where you'll find premium quality products from trusted brands, all in one place. Visit us today for quality products, expert service, and the brands you trust. Design Depot, all in one place.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now, scrolling on social media, listening to the radio, or watching TV? Have you ever stopped to think, what's powering my device right now? You see, electricity is essential for everyday life, powering our homes, businesses, transportation, and of course, that one binge-worthy series that you just can't stop watching. But how does it all work? This season on the What's and Why's of Energy, we're taking you behind the scenes, bringing you the latest updates and answers to your biggest energy questions. My name is Emmanuel Petch, and I invite you to join us as we go live on Facebook and get ready to see energy in a whole new light. Like, share, and follow us to be part of the conversation.
Belize Electricity Limited, providing you safe and reliable power when you need it.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Corozal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Veracidad, imparcialidad.
Este es el término utilizado.
Hemos estado haciendo el trabajo como organización.
Y tus noticias en español.
Están en aguas beliceñas, entonces esta bandera se queda aquí.
Sintoniza Canal 5 cada viernes a las 7 de la noche.
Tenemos que resolver dos grandes problemas de este país.
Su voz importa, su acción cuenta.
Transfusión sanguínea, elementos que indican un deterioro evidente del estado de salud.
Somos Noticiero 5 semanal.
Perdió la vida en un heroico intento de proteger a su hermano. El Tribunal de Magistrados de la ciudad de Belize se paralizó. La policía está investigando 2 asesinatos separados.
Tu fuente de información.
Welcome back. In studio with us this morning are members of the JUNT Unions negotiation team. We have with us the president of the Public Service Union, Mr. Dean Flowers. Good morning.
Good morning.
And he's joined by the president of the Association of Public Service Senior Managers, the APSSM, retired Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, we're discussing the latest developments with the union in its negotiation with the government of Belize. And while we've been reporting widely on the acceptance of the 4.5% salary adjustment, we need to find out from you guys what are the other details that come along with this acceptance of the latest proposal from the Brazilian administration. Let's start with you, Ms. Fraser.
Okay, so, and good morning.
Good morning.
So the second proposal, I have to go back to the second proposal, was 4% salary adjustment effective the 1st of October 2025, and the remaining 4.5% was to be received over the next 2 years, the following 2 years. So 4.5% would have been, the 8.5% would have been in 3 years. Also, there was the unfreezing of 2 frozen increments. The first one would have been received in the 1st of April 2026, and the next one 1st of April 2027. But conditional to us getting that is the pension reform, that we had to agree to pension reform starting the 1st of October 2025. That would have involved the new entrants entering into the public service, them having to contribute to their pension, and the extension of the age of retirement from 55 to 60. Of course, you all know we did not accept that. Yes. So a third proposal came, and that proposal, no, the first payment was bumped up another half to 4.5, and the next 4, the remaining 4, would have been paid, and still 1st of October 2025, and the next 4 would have been now paid October 2026. So we now had specific dates. The increments would have remained the same, but what is a plus and a win to us would have been the fact that we managed to get pension reform off of that letter. Oh. So that conditional subject to that was there would have meant that that wasn't there anymore. It's not that the pension reform is still not going to happen, just that no, officially it was not tied to the salary adjustment. So for us it was okay. We need to give it serious consideration, because if we didn't, there was a next step, and that next step would have been arbitration, and then we wouldn't have any control. Absolutely not. So it was to put this to membership for them to consider, okay, are you prepared to accept what is here? Which in my mind was a good deal, given where we moved from 3 and 5.5 over 3 years, subject to pension reform, to 4.5 and 4, without having to worry, at least in the front of our minds, about pension.
Go back for a second there and flesh out the idea of this could have gone to arbitration and you would have lost control of the situation. Expand on that for the benefit of our viewers.
Okay, so when it comes to industrial relations, you're allowed to negotiate. But when it is you reach an impasse, we would have had 3 offers that would have come on the table. So that after that, it could have been that government is saying, okay, fine, we have reached a point where we are not agreeing, and then the matter would have been turned over to the Minister of Labor. And the next step is arbitration, a tribunal, an arbitration tribunal. At that stage, an arbiter or TORs are in fact appointed, and all control is out of the hands of the parties at this point. So while it is, they would hear from us, hear from government, and you know government will come with all their figures of why it is they can't take, why they can't give it, why, all the why is not. At the end of the day, the arbitrator would have made a decision, and the decision is final. It also meant that we could have ended up with less than what we actually have on the table now, yes, because there was no guarantee that an arbiter would have given us what is there now. It could have been less, and we had no control, and the decision is final. You can't go back and negotiate then, once it goes into the hands of the arbitrator.
Let me move over now to Brother Dean, and the fact that if the Minister of Labor were to have intervened and established the arbitration tribunal, on the face of it, it would have been a conflict of interest. Expand on that part for me as well.
Yeah, definitely it would have been, and it is something that I hope that future future amendments to the Trade Dispute Act can address. In essence, the Minister of Labor sits in cabinet. So he has collective responsibility whether he supports cabinet's position or not. So if you invoke a tribunal, he gets to appoint the members of that tribunal. We get to nominate one depending on the composition, but ultimately the ball is in his court and he determines who sits there and he gives them instruction, albeit there's this facade that I'm being an independent tribunal. I think that if the CWU situation, what I got from the CWU situation is that it's obvious. It's difficult to get an independent tribunal in place given the fact that the minister appoints, and so most of the people would be
loyal or
pro-government.
Influenced by.
So under no circumstances would the unions have been looked at favorably had that tribunal been set up. And as Sister Sharon says, the law provides for the decision to be final and binding, albeit the people with the money, and I want to speak specifically to Port of Belize Limited, would have demonstrated to us that nothing is binding, that is final and binding if it is that you have money and you can challenge the system because they did not honor the ruling of that tribunal. Now, would we have been that type of rogue type of organization? I don't know. The membership would have had to decide that. But we felt that rather than put ourselves in this disadvantageous position of having the Minister of Labor and his appointees decide ultimately how this negotiation would have gone, which would have, again, could have stirred up something much bigger. Because I had made it clear from day one. I was prepared to go all the way. I would never, you see, I keep reminding my members that we have to learn. And 2021 teach me something very important. That if you're going to declare a trade dispute, then you have to be prepared to go all the way. And like I said, if that meant that we would have had to reach a point of civil unrest, then so be it.
Do you believe that your backs were against the wall, though, in the case of the tribunal being the next step? Yeah, in the sense of settling thing in a civil manner, we would have been against the wall. Yeah. We would have to really up the ante. And like I said, and that's why I said to my members, you will make the decision whether or not we go to a trade we declare a trade dispute, because for me this is serious business. This is, for me, it became bigger than the 8.5%, especially based on all the revelations that started coming out. And I think that's where the public is right now, because you're saying, President Dean, that it's bigger than the 8.5%. But for the general public, they feel that, all right, well, it has been settled now. You guys got what you asked for. You got even more when you think of the removal of the pension reform. And so they're thinking that, all right, it's done. All things are calm again. What do you say to them?
Absolutely not. I think that what this round of negotiation demonstrated to me is that we're operating in a vicious cycle. Every union leader that came before me found themselves in this very situation, begging, not necessarily negotiating, begging for an adjustment for workers who provide public service. And what is clear is that as the economy is growing, there's only one set of people who is benefiting. And those are what we refer to, of course, as the oligarchs in this society and the politicians. Wealth is not trickling down to the workers and to the wider citizenry. And so there has been significant growth in revenue, but also significant growth in expenditure. And nobody is checking, nobody is following the money. Not the Auditor General, and certainly not the Belizean populace. And so what we recognize is that there is a need, a great urgent need for us to address the systemic issues that is creating all these leakages into the hands of a few Belizeans and multinational companies, or expatriates that are operating in Belize. And so what we have decided as a joint union is that our focus must now be on these governance issues. Our focus must be on holding these oversight bodies accountable. We have to hold these oversight bodies accountable, and we have to push for the enforcement of legislation that already exists, and the revision or amendment to legislation to hold people accountable who are not doing their work. People have been calling for UNCAP. We all know that the government signed on to the convention, and along with that will now come the adoption of several pieces of legislation to ensure that we combat corruption, which seems to be the norm in Belize, and especially where our elected officials are concerned. We have some very beautiful pieces of legislation, but nobody is enforcing them, and nobody is being held accountable to enforce them. And so that's where our fight will go now.
So then how do you express that to the public, to have them continue with this, with you guys? Because as I mentioned, for the most part, the public is thinking, you got the 8.5, the unions are settling this matter now. And also, are you getting the buy-in from the entire union to continue this fight now? Because maybe they as well are also feeling that, all right, we got what we wanted.
No, it's funny because some of the challenges that we had in terms of getting buy-in for this last proposal was that members were concerned about the fact that also if we accept this, that means that all the governance issues, all the other issues will not be dealt with. I can tell you that that is one of the biggest issues that came out of the membership for BNTU. The president cannot be here today, but I know she had to fight as it relates to those coming just from her members, so I can only imagine what the wider public is saying. But it's not that we have not been addressing these governance issues, even from the joint union perspective, that there are some of these issues that are under the proposed CBA that we're supposed to sign the framework for. So it's not that the fight actually just begins.
Yeah.
This 8.5 was just a very short-term request, demand, however you want to describe it, to government, and we should have already gone into our CBA, and hopefully it will not last as long as the previous one, setting proper guidelines. But in that CBA is not just about money, it's all about systems, putting things in place to make the system, all of us accountable.
Yeah.
Let me ask this then, and I take your point and I respect the fact that it's not all about money, but my question has to do with money nonetheless. Because at this point, the masses of Belizean people, because the idea has been introduced that we want to go from $5 an hour to $6 an hour, that is something that could potentially benefit all Belizeans who are making a minimum wage of only $5 at this point. So my question has to do with, where are we with the push towards a $6 minimum wage?
Well, Brother Dean at every meeting asked about the $6. And in fact, when he first raised it, he's here, but I need to say this, because when he first raised the issue of the $6, which would have affected every worker, he was told, but that is our manifesto plan, promise? How are you trying to steal our manifesto plan? that was the initial response. We don't promise that, so how come now you're coming with that? But he was bringing it in a different light, not to steal anything from 2.0. It was, what people don't realize is that you have public officers who are making minimum wage.
Yeah.
And I am thinking how hard it is for a number of public officers who know they're the bottom and their survival. We are public officers are one payday away from poverty. You have public officers retiring into poverty. They're struggling, And I'm thinking, my God, when I heard Dean talk about we have public officers at that point making $3.30 and then move to $5, and I'm saying, my God, how then they survive in this climate?
Here's a fundamental truth, if I may. There's a difference between a promise and a demand, right? Because a manifesto is a promise. A promise is a comfort to a fool, right? We've seen administrations come and go, half of the thing when they pledge, not get done, right? But a demand is where I am saying this is what I want based on what I believe or I know I deserve. That's to me what the fundamental difference is. So when you're approaching and saying, okay, fine, it might be there as 2.0, but you have public officers who are well below this particular threshold and we're demanding, we're clamoring that this be done, that's a whole different approach to the same issue.
And that's why we've said to the government, this matter will have to be addressed in our upcoming CBA. It cannot be. It cannot be that we will continue to ensure that those who push paper are highly compensated, but those who are responsible for food security, and I speak to the laborers in the Ministry of Agriculture, who have to push all these pilot products with the goat, the sheep, the tilapia, the different vegetables, the different grades of banana. It cannot be that these people are responsible for our food security and earning the bare minimum. It cannot be that the people who are responsible to run the pilots for the chicken, the pigs, the cows, responsible again for food security, those who are responsible for our health and safety, the domestics in the hospital who are handling red waste, who are getting pricked with needles. It's really, I don't know how a government can have any conscience to not understand what we're saying when we're saying these people provide valuable public service. Public service that keeps you all alive. And you look down at them and you say to them they're only worth $5. The heavy duty operators who they keep the roadside clean in the Ministry of Infrastructure and Development. It's for any leader to boast about $5 or $6 minimum wage shows me that that leader has no love for his people. Because the reality is, there's this saying that says, you want things to change immediately, put politicians per minimum wage. Look how quickly the system changed. And so none of them can tell me they have any love for the Belizean people or that they have any love for public sector workers who are earning those pittance which they want. It seems that they want to throw a party whenever you reach $6. It would seem they want to throw a party. And I'm saying to them, we have another serious round of blows that I will be prepared for in the upcoming CBA, because no public officer should ever be forced to earn those type of salaries that category of workers that I spoke to. And so in the CBA, we will have to look at establishing standards for the public service. And that's why we're saying this nonsense of politicians being given this free rein to just flood the public service with workers rather than going through the proper channel of the Public Service Commission to ensure that we're getting the best people and paying them properly have to stop. And if this administration does not want to correct that, then they have no interest in improving this country.
Well, but let's be real, Dean. I don't know that any administration, based on the way how politics operates in this country, is serious about changing that. Because we all know the game. Politicians bring their supporters and put them in a sports council. They put them all over the place. So you have all of these open vote workers who at a certain point in time would want to formally assimilate into the public service, but they were not properly vetted. They did not go through the processes that would legitimize their employment where that is concerned.
And that's why what I recognize that we have to do as union, what you all have to do as media, we have to change the narrative. We have to really start coining these conversations so that the average man on the street know exactly what's happening. Because I think we're speaking it and we're trying our best to explain it, but I'm seeing that people are not understanding that that is not the way. That we can't continue like this. We cannot continue whereby you're concerned about your son and your daughter getting a scholarship and you're not concerned about my son and my daughter getting a scholarship, and then the Minister of Education, and I'm not casting any aspersion on this current Minister of Education, just facilitate you because you don't mean a loyal PUP or a loyal UDP. There has to be fair opportunities for us all, enabling environment. And so you're right, no government, none, and we've seen some of the worst governments over the last 23 years, or the last 28 years, in my humble view. None of them has taken the necessary steps to try to cure these type of bad governance. And will it happen? Trust me, it will happen one day. Will I see it? I don't know, but I'm hoping that my stance against these things will inspire the next generation of unionists, will inspire my children, your children, my grandchildren to say, no man, we have to demand better. And we can demand better, we just have to be prepared to get out, get the hell out of our comfort zone. Get the hell out of our comfort zone.
One of the things that I feel so inclined to highlight right now, and perhaps it's because of the generation that I come from, I'm much younger, sitting on this couch here, but for me, I can't help but acknowledge the roles that the unions are playing right now, especially when we look at how poor our opposition is operating. And I think that this is something that the public needs to acknowledge as well, because you've been able to successfully accept some demands that were placed forward to the government while still acknowledging that this isn't a fight against the current administration, it's a fight against governance in general and the flaws that are within the government system here. Do you feel that that in some ways you're kind of acting as the opposition because of what is taking place?
Of course, every day. Right? And I think that it's an unfortunate burden that are placed on us. We have not run for any elections.
It's the same thing I say about the media as the fourth estate, right?
Right.
We never sign up for being no elected opposition.
I always think about the fact that every time it's Jews have to be bringing out something which the opposition should be doing, and it's not that we have any role, any issue pointing out the systematic flaws, but that you're so busy trying to fight for governance issue that you want to tend to, it might be that you overlook what it is you're supposed to be fighting for your members, what you're mandated to do. I never run for no politics, but I cannot ignore the governance issues that exist, because ultimately it affects all of us as citizens of this country, not just as public sector workers, but as citizens. And you can't, in some cases, you can't separate the two. So if it is we're able to fix some of the governance issues, it will benefit us from the public sector. I know, for example, the Prime Minister would have said how much it's going to cost their government for the salary adjustment. And I've said to him, respectfully, we'll help to find the money. So we have not just been sitting down to say, oh well, give away raise and give away adjustment, give away raise, give away. No, we have not done that. From the previous administration, we have gone, public sector workers have gone looking for the money to cover our own adjustments. So we've gone in. We are not just sitting down. I need to emphasize the fact that we have sat a part of the cost savings committee, the revenue enhancement committee, in order to assist. Although we didn't promise the people of Belize we are going to do this and we are going to do that. Brother Dean always talk about the 1.0, that there are so many promises in there. So he can't move to 2.0 because he's still on 1.0.
A lot of unfulfilled aspects of it.
If I could add to Sister Fraser's comments on the matter of the opposition and our role, I think that while yes, there's the, as they would say, the loyal or royal opposition, I think that as citizens, we all have a role to play. This is a participatory democracy. And I will not leave my future or the future of my children and hopefully grandchildren one day, hope my daughter not hear me, into the hands of any opposition. We all have an active role to play, and that's why part of the reform process that we need, Belizeans, is whistleblowers as legislation. We all have a right to whistleblow. Any corrupt act, any abuse of public resources, any threat to public health, we have a moral, we're duty bound to whistleblow. And I am challenging the Minister of Good Governance, bring back the whistleblower legislation out of that House committee where it's been seated for the last 3 years. And I'm saying we need to get rid of these nonsensical non-disclosure agreement that they have people signing every time they put you on a board or on a committee. We have to have an open and transparent government. We need to amend that Companies Registry Act so that we can look at beneficial ownership, so that we can tackle the conflict of interest that exists with elected representatives giving themselves contract under the guise of shell companies. These people are fleecing this country, and it will go bad for us in 10 years' time. We will be off the cliff again. We need to know who they evade taxes, Isani. These people are evading millions of dollars in taxes with these shell companies that they're hiding behind. Some of these multinationals and foreigners that are investing in this country, the concessions and the tax breaks are too excessive. And I would have heard the Minister of State and the Ministry of Finance speak about the 200 million with, I think it's, what's the key?
Kichapo.
Yeah, Kichapo. And he would say, I mean, I want to challenge him. He said something like this. He said, well, it's tax neutral. What the hell do you mean by tax neutral, my brother? It cannot be tax neutral when I could tell Beltrade, come on this couch and explain the analysis that he speaks of in terms of the investment that will come in versus what we will get. All that we will get is poverty wages while they enjoy tax breaks even before they put one shovel in at the ground to when the damn hurricane come and destroy the damn place and they left. It is shameful when you hear your leaders this talk about this. They're like, yo, fleece this country. Why? Because it for them bread butter on both sides. But the average man is supposed to live this type of really in life. This is life and indignity as far as I'm concerned. The way how our politicians think about us in terms of the type of wages that they think we should be earning, which they themselves would never want to earn. So governance issues, because we have to address the leakages in the system, and it's not leakages by anybody where they come in, it's the very leakages by the people that is being created by the very people that we elect. And so those are the things that for me is in my vision. Whistleblowers legislation, get it introduced, get the Companies Act amended so that we can demystify these politicians who are hiding behind shell companies both locally and internationally, and address the issue of taxes and tax evasion. Because if you think borrow $1 million a day if you pay salaries, I can say to the Belizean people that we're losing more than that per day in tax evasion. We're losing millions of dollars, and the government knows it, and the Auditor General can't even quantify it. Can't even quantify it.
Of course, we continue to follow, and as these developments further reveal themselves, we will be keeping up with the work that is being done through the joint unions. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, it's all about Quartz Optical celebrating 30 years of clear vision.
William R. Langsworth, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offer, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History, choose Contributions, read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Greater Belize Media introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs in Greater Belize Media prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Greater Belize Media Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're jumping into our second conversation this morning, and as we mentioned, it's all about Quartz Optical celebrating 30 years of clear vision. This morning, we are joined by Jessica Sawyer. She is the marketing officer representing Quartz Optical, and also with us is Maria Saran. She is the optometrist, also from Quartz Optical. Ladies, Thanks so much
Good
for
morning,
joining
ladies.
us and welcome.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
It's so nice having you guys here. This is 30 years of Clear Vision.
So it's actually 10 years.
10 years.
We want to correct that. We are the baby sister brand from Quartz.
So Quartz is celebrating 30.
We are celebrating 10.
10. Yes. All right. Well, we just gave you guys 20 more years. You're welcome.
We look forward to that, though.
All right. Well, let's talk about what those 10 years has been like. This has been 10 years in Belize, yes? And, you know, I'm here thinking, Maria and Jessica, I kind of feel like I remember when you guys officially started 10 years ago. It was such a big deal having Quartz provide clear vision and options to do eye tests and get their glasses. I think for me, what stood out immediately was the level of eye testing that you would be getting when you stop at Optical in the first place. Let's begin there. When it started 10 years ago, were you there from the start, Maria?
Not from the beginning, because I came in 2017.
Okay.
So Optical itself, it's a brand that has been all over the region in Central America. You can find it by another name, but it has been around for a good while. Now, yes, one of the priorities from Quartz Optical is always to bring high-tech, always top to the best technology.
Affordable.
And yes, one of the things that you can find inside our clinics is that everything is digital. All of our equipment, it's not manual. So that is one of the benefits that you get there. That we're trying, of course, the knowledge of our professionals. Before I know, well, me personally, it's been a whole journey. We were talking about that yesterday, because I am one optometrist that came into the country specifically to work at Quartz Optical, something that it wasn't back in the day, then, available. You know, there was only a few professionals that you could go to get your eyes tested, get your vision health, eye care, and everything. But now Quartz Optical try to bring professionals, even from abroad, just to bring that service to the people in Belize. So I think that's something worth remarkable from the company.
At 10 years, celebrating this particular milestone, do you believe that more Belizeans are accessing the services that perhaps they should be where vision is concerned?
Yes, because it has become more accessible, right? It's more accessible. We usually bring along, whenever you purchase your glasses, we provide a free eye test. Something that...
So there's accessibility and then there's affordability.
Correct.
Right?
And
Sorry,
then
go
we also
ahead.
do the outreaches as well. So we do community outreaches to different districts.
We try to get everywhere to bring this service to the communities at the end.
I want to talk about what the process looks like when someone is looking to get their eye tested in the first place and they want to do that through Quartz Optical. We know that you guys are located right here in Belize City. But what's the first step? Can you walk in, or do you have to book an appointment? Does it cost? And how long is that process?
So you can walk in. We do allow that. If Maria is with someone, you may have a wait, but you can also book online at quartzoptical.com.
Is it a long process to get your eyes tested? I mean, I want you guys to know, I was just going to say that I tested my eyes last week. And it really isn't a long process. Interestingly, I didn't realize that it's been roughly, 3 years since I did my last one. Yeah, and so I've, the glasses that I'm using right now, I got from Quartz Optical. The ones before, I also got from Quartz Optical. So I really trust Quartz Optical to get proper eye testing. I could tell you that off the bat, and no, this is not a paid promotion here. This is my vision that I'm talking about here, guys, and I need it to, read. I read for a living, and I need to drive. And so I have trusted Maria and the optometrist before you to test my eyes and ensure that I have proper glasses and vision. Talk about what the process is like, because there are two machines that you allowed me to use to test my vision.
The very first one is an autorefractor. That one it's like a pre-screening for us, for us optometrists, because it gives you more or less an idea where that prescription should be. Not every time that numbers that you see there are the correct numbers. That's not true. But most of the time it gives you a good like guidance.
Yeah.
But once you go inside the clinic, that's where the actual eye test, it's done, it's performed. We have to test how is your vision, your visual acuity. We have to examine their eye health, how your eye is in terms of if you have dry eyes. We can detect if there's cataracts or pterygium or any other eye condition that might be affecting you, besides visual refraction error, meaning there's two different things, right? You have your eye conditions, like I said, cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, like that's inside the eye. But from the outside, there's also, your eye condition. You have astigmatism.
Poor vision. Yeah.
That's you can focus properly, right? But there's other conditions, visual conditions, like you were mentioning earlier, that you are nearsighted. That means you're myopia and you cannot see from afar. There's also, but those are the most common, myopia, astigmatism, and also presbyopia, which is an eye condition that develops once you turn 40. Could be before, could be after, but most people develop that around that age. It doesn't discriminate gender or ethnicity. It affects everyone.
Can you explain what that one is?
That is presbyopia. That comes...
Yeah, what are the effects of it or symptoms?
What do you feel? Well, if you are, if you don't need glasses, like you're ametropic, like you don't need glasses at all, you haven't used glasses ever in your life, the very first sign and symptom that you will notice is that you start to lose the ability to see at a close distances, small print. Have you noticed that people
they
stretch their arm in order to see like the receipts, their phone, small print? That is one of the first signs.
Oh.
Now, the squinting, yes, you might squint a bit, but most people who have like myopia, they squint to see far. Yeah. That is called a stenopaque effect. But
do you find that people come in with these other conditions that affect their vision, like diabetes, cataracts, astigmatism you just spoke about, glaucoma even? Do you find that there are many more people coming in with these other underlying issues?
Yes, yes. Fortunately, because we are giving this service very accessible, we can, detect if there's any issues like that, and if there is, it's our duty, and ethically speaking, to refer all of these patients to the proper, which is the ophthalmologist. That would be the professional who will attend those eye diseases or eye conditions, right? But us, we are up to the glasses. If the glasses can fix you, we'll fix you.
All right. Well, let's talk about the glasses, because we have quite a few here on display, and as you saw on the screen, this is just a fraction of what you can really get when you stop in at Quartz Optical. There's a few here for you ladies and gentlemen that's looking to upgrade your vision or your frames as well. Let's talk about what you guys brought with you.
So this week, from July 1st to 5th, for celebrating the 10 years, we have 10% off designer frames.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. Nice. So here we have Oakley for guys, I believe, for men.
Yeah,
we have Gucci, Coach.
Yeah.
Did you bring Michael Kors?
No, I brought, for ladies, I brought a Swarovski, which has the Swarovski crystals. Tiffany also has embellishment with crystals, and Dolce & Gabbana.
How seriously do people take picking that frame?
Very serious. Very serious. Because statistically, men choose faster than women.
Really?
Yes.
Could you choose something from here that you would like, Isani?
I think from the row at the front.
The first row.
I can't respond to that. You know why I can't respond to that?
He's in denial.
You know why I can't respond to that? Because a couple times I went into Quartz Optical.
Okay.
And I had it in mind that I wanted a particular frame. It wasn't available.
Oh, okay.
And so I said I'd come back, and I never got around to it. But if you were to ask me, I'm a Ralph Lauren guy.
Okay.
So that would be a frame that I wouldn't even think, if I see it, I would say, okay, that's something that I would go
Okay, so you have a specific model in mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, but we'll try to find the closest to it. But you also have to be a little bit open on our suggestions, because
certainly.
sometimes there's a certain shape or
suits you
gets
best.
suits
Yeah,
you
I don't go
better.
in looking for a brand. I go in looking for the shape that best suits my face. And I mean, ladies, you know what last week was like. So I've had these frames for years. Apparently, I didn't even realize it was this long. And I tried on close to probably like 20 frames.
Yes.
And Maria was like, "Oh, that looks good," or "Try this." I'm like,
No.
I'm not feeling it. No. And I finally decided on one that honestly looked very close to the ones that I'm wearing right now, but those are the ones that I got. Could you hand me that, please?
This one?
Yes. So this brand is
Anna Hickman.
Hickman.
That's a designer.
And this is also 10% off this week as well. So I'll give you guys, tell me if you think that this frame is the one that I should go with when I upgrade my glasses.
We can make a poll out of it. Yeah, they're
Yay,
cute.
nay?
They look great on
Do we
camera.
like it, guys? Because this will be the frame that you'll be seeing every morning. Do we think that it goes, that it's working?
Matches your outfit too.
Yeah, that's not on purpose, but I like it. I think it's pretty. And usually, I imagine people that are getting glasses, they're getting it because they need it. But also there are people who go and they get these frames just because they like the aesthetic of it as well. Do you find that often taking place?
Yes. Well, one of the things, yes, it is important that you feel comfortable with your frame. And yes, nowadays, you can find an immense number of designs like that can suit your face. Like back in the day, like, and we're talking, yes, not maybe 10 years ago, but maybe even before that, the frames were very standard. And yes, you had that issue that I don't want to use glasses because I will look in a certain way. And you will have that prejudice, and people will tease.
Gone are the days of that, though. It's not like that anymore.
Not anymore. Now that you can find
big frames,
cat eye, pillow, rectangular, squared. Even for men, you can find something very formal. We can find something very sporty or very casual if you want. Like that's why we brought certain different models, so you can at least be our guest and try them on and model for us.
There's a male oak there.
When I started,
soon enough.
when I started using glasses, it was in primary school. I think it was like standard 1 or standard 2, and I remember getting teased for it. But now you can even add so many other things to your glasses. You can get transitions, you can get blue light vision, and all of those you can also get at Quartz Optical as well.
That is part of the materials and technology that also Quartz Optical brings to. Like it becomes accessible to you. We have all types of lenses. We have single vision, bifocals, progressives, contact lenses, polarized sunglasses. You can even make your sunglasses with prescription. We have, like you mentioned, the blue light filter.
And that comes with the glasses once you get it. You don't have to get that separately.
No. That the new materials, the modern materials, already comes with a blue light filter, which is for the screens. You have the anti-reflective for the artificial light. And of course, as you mentioned, the transitions, which is the filter for the sunlight. Like it blocks the UV rays by getting dark, so you get that protection too.
Do we get warranty when we purchase and get glasses at Optical?
So you do, and you can purchase more if you're interested, so you have that peace of mind.
Okay. How about business outreach? There's an aspect where businesses can reach out as well to get their eye tested if they want to make sure that they're...
So we can go to your business and provide eye care for your staff.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So you just have to reach out to us and then we can set that up.
All right.
Yeah, that's actually also I want to mention that we also take care of insurance. If you have Sagicor or RFNG, yes, we take care of that insurance. You only bring your card. It's pretty much very simple, no hassle, and we deal with the paperwork. We only pay your portion, so that is also another way to make accessible eye care and vision care.
And for the people who may not have insurance, we do have credit options. So you can do affordable installments.
All right.
Yeah, you can plan your budget and you can buy your glasses just like you get your TV.
Yeah.
And you need your glasses to watch your TV, right?
Yeah.
I'd suggest get your glasses before you get your TV. But ladies, thank you so much for joining us. 10 years of Quartz Optical. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I, of course, continue to share that this is a business that I trust. I trust the work that's being done over there. I have to because I need a seat. So if you definitely want that buy-in, you just got it there from me. But we wish you guys all the best. Let's hope for 10 more or 20 more years.
20 more, yes.
Alrighty, we take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we will be joined by Loretto Pelayo, and he is going to be talking about his latest jazz concert. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizo, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizo, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost. A fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Greater Belize Media.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
My name is Carlton Flowers and I'm the owner of Back to My Roots Art from the Heart. And in this store I produce a lot of handmade ornaments. Before I had access, it was a big problem because the tourist doesn't carry as much cash. We needed to have the machine to make the business a success. Dealing with the machine, I don't have to take time out from the store to go and, or send people to go to the bank. I would recommend Belize Bank Digital Service because it has done a lot for me personally. It has done a lot for my business. It helps me with paying my bills online, and I really appreciate that the staff took time out and teach me what I needed to get done. So I'm very happy that now I can do it confidently on my own.
Veracidad, imparcialidad.
Este es el término utilizado.
Hemos estado haciendo el trabajo como organización.
Y tus noticias en español.
Están en aguas beliceñas, entonces esta bandera se queda aquí.
Sintoniza Canal 5 cada viernes a las 7 de la noche.
Tenemos que resolver dos grandes problemas de este país.
Su voz importa, su acción cuenta.
Transfusión sanguínea, elementos que indican un deterioro evidente del estado de salud.
Somos Noticiero 5 semanal.
Perdió la vida en un heroico intento de proteger a su hermano. El Tribunal de Magistrados de la ciudad de Belize se paralizó. La policía está investigando 2 asesinatos separados.
Tu fuente de información.
Welcome back. We have switched things up just a little bit for this particular segment. We have instead been joined in studio by members of the Belize City Thunderbolts. We have with us in studio this morning CEO Greg Mogel.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
And we also have Coach Darren Bovell.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. And 2 players. We have Charles Garcia and we have Victor Vito Evans in studio with us. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Let's begin by talking about the performance of the Thunderbolts in this season so far, and the fact that you have an upcoming game to be played tomorrow. Where are we in terms of what the Thunderbolts have been doing in the league this season?
I could take this part. We have been through a development stage where we are trying to find ourselves. We started off with an import. His name was Larry Johnson. He's still on the poster up there. So we brought him in, and he played with us for a couple of games, and we won 1 out of 2 of those 2 games that we played with him. So he didn't really fit the part. He was good, but he didn't fit the part that we needed. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and we brought in Mr. Garcia, who actually is fitting in nicely in the part that we needed. So the team is getting back on track. Our record is now 3-3.
Okay.
So we are at 50% playing. So going forward now, we are trying to create our identity. Find ourselves as a team to settle down for the rest of the season. So we are just getting to our peak, where we need to be, and we have 2 games coming up this week. We're playing actually Thursday against the Belmopan City Kings, and then we play again on Saturday against the Cayo Western Ballers. So
both here in Belize City?
Yes, both here in Belize City at the Civic Center. Thursday is going to be 9 o'clock, and Saturday is going to be 8 o'clock p.m.
For me, I think it's interesting kind of understanding the dynamic of how the team adjusts. And as you mentioned, Coach Bubble, the fact that you have specific players for specific roles.
Yes.
And if that role isn't being met, you have to make a shift. How does that go about when mapping your players and ensuring that they play the best game that you intend them to play?
Yes, well, actually, basketball is played. It's a system game where everybody has a role. Like I said, we have Victor, who is the leading point guard, and we have Mr. Garcia here, who is the power forward and the center. So we have to find players that will complement them, that will do the odd jobs. These two are mostly where our offense is based, so we got to find players to pick up on the defensive end and other things like that. So it's a puzzle putting together to find a team that will mesh.
That's what it comes off as.
Yes.
Gentlemen.
Is that something, is that something that plays out throughout the course of the season, or is it something where you establish the chemistry from the beginning going into the season? How does that work?
Well, usually you should establish the chemistry going into the season, but we didn't have. This season was a short notice. We had like 3 weeks to practice before our first game.
Yeah.
So within the first 3 games, we are still trying to find that chemistry. So 6 games in, we are finally finding our chemistry now. So it's just to go in and refine that and try to be the best team possible.
Now, Vito, you've been sidelined by injury. Is that it?
Just
where
one
do you
game.
stand? One game.
Yeah, I missed one game earlier in the season. I think it was the third game.
Yeah, the third game against the fourth against the Belmopan. Same team that we're going to play.
Yeah, so it was the it was against the Suns. That's the one I didn't play.
Okay.
Yep.
Corozal. Yeah.
How are you finding this new configuration under this new league as opposed to when you were playing under the BEBL or any other basketball league?
It's the same. It's just basketball. This same rules, same rim, same height, ball, same size. So
just more games.
Yeah, that's it. It's nothing really new.
Yeah. Okay, but you were on a different team, right?
Yes.
And so tell us about that part of it, the adjustment.
Different team. Fortunately, I have 3 teammates, former teammates, and Coupe, Ian, and Chuck right here. So everybody else was, getting familiar with. I was fortunate to get here about 2 weeks before the season, so I got to gel with those guys a little bit. So for me, it wasn't too much of an adjustment as far as once the game started. But just finding our identity to start the season, I think that was probably the most complicated part. But I think now we have it, so it should be smooth sailing from here.
Charles, talk about what your experience has been like so far.
Like I said, been playing here some years now. Last year with Victor, Coach Buff, and my experience is going very well. I can't complain. You know what I mean? Wish we had more games. I wish I was here from the start. Waiting 3 weeks and playing now. Got to practice and stuff like that. Regroup the guys. Build up chemistry and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So just wish we had more games.
So we have 3 wins and 3 losses so far.
Yes.
And I know that ultimately the goal is to win all of them. And so, Mr. Mogale, as CEO of the Thunderbolts, what are your thoughts, or what's the administration side looking like when we are seeing the success and some of the challenges that have been showing out since the season has started?
We have great challenges with our team and organization, as in trying to put the team together to make sure that we have that core group of players that mesh and could gel, as what Coach has mentioned before. And it was a little bit difficult, but we get some experience from other players and other management from other organization, and so we worked with that, and it went out pretty well for us at the point.
How are you guys looking in terms of your prospects going forward? How many games are left before you go into the playoffs, and perhaps what's your current standing beyond the 3-3?
Well, it would be the next cup, right?
Yeah, well, we have 2 different cups, so we are competing for a cup against Belmopan and Kaya. Those are the 2 teams in our division. So we haven't met Kaya yet for this season, but we have met Belmopan twice, so with them we have a 1-1 record, and we play them again. So we have 4 games against Kaya and 4 games against Belmopan. So if we could win this all out, then we will be the top seed in our division, and we will win our division.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot. Yeah, we got.
Wow. And that's only the first cup. We still have 2 more.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we have six more games remaining that we are playing in our division. So we have 2 against Belmopan and 4 against Kyle.
What has the support from the fans been like? There's been a shift. We're looking at a new team, a new league. Are we seeing the buy-in from the public?
It's basically it's growing. Normally within the season, all season, this is like a lull period of time. And so what we are doing, our organization, our team, the Thunderbolts, this week has been considered as fans appreciation week. So we take this whole week and we dedicate it to the fans. Tickets that used to be for $10, now the general is $5.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
And when you sit at courtside, you get a voucher which is about $15. You go to the bar, you get whatever drink you want, within soda, whatever it is, and
slightly harder.
Yeah, and we have the VIP, and you buy a VIP ticket, you get a $5 voucher. You also do the same at the bar. And we were doing giveaway tickets on Albert Street. We goes to all the different areas trying to meet with the fans, to show them the support of the Thunderbolts, and asking them in the future to support us when that time comes around.
So those are some of the giveaways that you guys have planned. Do you have any events where you're set to meet some of the fans as well?
We were on the weekend we were at Albert Street, and then we had
we went to the Chicken Express
Fair.
Oh, nice!
So it was a great time out there. Yeah, it was a great time out there. So
well, I understand we have a ticket giveaway for some of our viewers that are tuning in right now, and I hope that you are paying attention because the question is, how many games has Belize City Thunderbolts won so far? And we've mentioned it quite a couple times so far in the conversation.
Easy question.
He's paying attention.
Let us know in the comment section, and the first person to answer correctly wins a ticket for Thursday's game?
For Thursday's game.
For Thursday's game. And we're going to iron out the details. Message us on our Facebook page on how to secure that ticket. But gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow, game 1. What time does it start?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock
Doors
p.m.
open at 7.
7 o'clock. And we can get our tickets at the
booth.
At the booth.
At the booth at Civic Center.
At 1 o'clock. Starting at 1, right?
No, 6
Oh,
o'clock.
6? Okay, 6 p.m. Booth open at 6.
All right, fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we wish you guys all the best. Moving into our next discussion, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're going to be talking about Shane Orio's Football Academy, their kids, their summer camp. There will be traveling outside the country later on this year as well. So definitely stay tuned to that.
My name is Christian Palma. I'm the owner of CRK Services, and I've been operating this business for 7 years in Big Falls, Toledo District. I use the Belize Bank online services because it's quite fast, reliable, and easy. Before I started to use the Belize Bank online services, I had to make a lot of trips into town, which cost me a lot, especially fuel. So the fact that I have to use my credit card every day, I can do an online instant payment and make my life easy. My customers can do payments towards me and it reaches in instant. It's fast, it's convenient for my business. I don't have to be up and down. I can do it anywhere I want. I would recommend you using the Belize Bank online services because for you, it will save you a lot of time.
The temperatures are rising, but the prices are dropping fast. From beach days to backyard barbecues, Cellular World has everything you need to stay connected, entertained, and ahead of the curve. Crank up the music with JBL speakers. Watch every play in a crystal clear action on a new Samsung TV, or stay productive with reliable Dell devices, all from your trusted authorized distributor. How low can you go? Try smartphones just for $119, tablets at $129, TVs starting at only $379. Gadgets, computers, printers, appliances, and office equipment at the best price. Visit us today at your favorite Cellular World location, Belize City, Belmopan, Orange Walk, or San Pedro, and find great deals, trusted brands, and a summer you will never forget.
Welcome to Design Depot, where you'll find premium quality products from trusted brands, all in one place. Visit us today for quality products, expert service, and the brands you trust. Design Depot, all in one place.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now, scrolling on social media, listening to the radio, or watching TV? Have you ever stopped to think, what's powering my device right now? You see, electricity is essential for everyday life, powering our homes, businesses, transportation, and of course, that one binge-worthy series that you just can't stop watching. But how does it all work? This season on the What's and Why's of Energy, we're taking you behind the scenes, bringing you the latest updates and answers to your biggest energy questions. My name is Emmanuel Petch, and I invite you to join us as we go live on Facebook and get ready to see energy in a whole new light. Like, share, and follow us to be part of the conversation.
Belize Electricity Limited, providing you safe and reliable power when you need it.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizo, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Veracidad, imparcialidad.
Este es el término utilizado.
Hemos estado haciendo el trabajo como organización.
Y tus noticias en español.
Están en aguas beliceñas, entonces esta bandera se queda aquí.
Sintoniza Canal 5 cada viernes a las 7 de la noche.
Tenemos que resolver los grandes problemas de este país.
Su voz importa, su acción cuenta.
Transfusión sanguínea, elementos que indican un deterioro evidente del estado de salud.
Somos Noticiero 5 semanal.
Perdió la vida en un heroico intento de proteger a su hermano. El Tribunal de Magistrados de la ciudad de Belize se paralizó. La policía está investigando 2 asesinatos separados.
Tu fuente de información.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping, we should say we're kicking things into our next conversation, and it's all about the Shane Orio Football Academy kicking off summer camp. And I think this ties in perfectly with the conversation that we started the show with. You guys would know that school's out, and so kids are trying to find the next summer camp to take part of. This morning, we are joined over this side of the set. We have here with us Janelle Mencia. She's a parent. She also has an active role of communications within the Shane Orio Football Academy. Also with us on set is Shane Usher. He's a U13 player, and Moses Leslie, also a U13 player. A little bit later on in the conversation, I'll also kick things over to Isani, where he is joined by two other persons as well. Guys, thanks so much for joining us, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Shane Orio Football Academy. I have to say, you know, I'm pretty familiar with this topic. We also shared it with you guys on the news last week. But if you have not been able to watch that story, I want to get a quick overview of what the Shane Orio Academy is, Football Academy is in the first place, and what it seeks to achieve for kids that take part in Belmopan particularly.
So good morning, Sabrina, and thanks for having us. I'm sure Coach will tell you a bit more, so I'll just do it on the surface level, but the academy was established in 2022, and I think it's really a part of our former national team goalkeeper, to have come back to Belize and elevate football, make sure that his contributions were not out there only on the pitch and for his own professional development, but for these kids and all the kids in the academy, and just football on a whole. And so, well, for me, I've been a part of the academy for I think 2 years now. And so it's really been exciting to see the growth of the children. And I love that it's both boys and girls that are in it. I think over the last few years, we've seen a steady increase in the number of girls on the academy. And I love that balance. And then we have a few players who will be going to Costa Rica at the end of the month. We have 4 of them, and that's an opportunity that was brokered by Coach Shane because of his own experience and his time in Costa Rica. And so we're really excited for where the boys will go with that and how they'll develop. And then when we don't only look at football, but also developing their life skills, having them be active parts of the community. This year we did 2 community service projects. In January, we participated as a part of the National Cleanup Campaign. And then for Earth Day, we partnered with the Belmopan City Council and a few other organizations, and we did a tree planting. And so it's also to get the kids active and involved in the community beyond just playing the sport.
Yeah. So you're also a parent, a part of the academy as well. You have your son, Zaven, who has been with the academy. Why did you decide to have your son be a part of this? There's so many football academies, so many mini leagues that are a part of Belmopan and even the rest of the country, but you chose Shane Orio's Football Academy.
Right. Well, I think the obvious draw is he's Shane Orio, a well-known name. He comes from a football background. For me, my son, I think he really got introduced to it at school, and that was his draw. He's like, Mommy, we're playing at school. He wants to get involved, and so we moved him into the academy. And I think he's still a little shy, but he's growing, and I appreciate that. I can see his development over time. He scored his first goal in a tournament this year, and that was exciting for us, right? And I think it's just being able to see the children's growth and really appreciate where they started and where they're heading to.
All right, well, I want to get Deshane in the conversation. He's a part of the U13 team. Deshane, why did you decide to be a part of the academy?
Because my favorite sport was football, and all of my friends were already playing it as well, so I decided I wanted to join as well.
And how long have you been playing with the academy?
2 years.
How? Sorry?
2 years.
2 years? What are some of the things that you've learned since you've been a part?
I learned how to play better as a team. I learned how to
You learn how to be a better team player.
Yes.
Were you familiar with Mr. Shane Orio and what he was for football here in Belize?
Yes.
Did you see any of his games?
Yes.
What did you think of him?
A great goalkeeper.
Yeah?
Yes.
What role do you play?
I play left back.
Left back?
Yes.
I don't know nothing about
I
that.
wish I knew.
Moses, I also spoke to you last week as well. For people who might have not been able to see your story, why did you decide to join the academy?
Well, because I wanted to play in a football team, and as soon as I saw Shane Orio Football Academy on Facebook, I knew that would be the perfect academy for me.
Now you are going to be one of the students that will be leaving for Costa Rica in a few weeks. I believe that's in July, right?
Right.
That's actually this month.
Yes, this month.
How do you feel about that opportunity?
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah? What are some of the things that you hope to learn when you go to Costa Rica?
To be a better player.
To be a better player. Now, I know that Isani, he said that he has experience in basketball, but this morning we're going to see how well he can handle himself with football. And I'm going to throw things over to him right now. He's joined by Shane Orio himself, included Zaven Enriquez.
All right, thanks, Sabrina. I am here on the mini football pitch with my friend Shane Orio and, of course, Zaven. Good morning, Shane.
Again, good morning, and thanks for the invitation. Thanks for having us here this morning. And we just have I think that you told me that you're a basketball guy, not a football guy.
Yeah, more so basketball than football, but I'm open to learning new things.
To learning.
Yes,
yeah, we're never too old to learn also. Right, so practically what we're going to do, this is just some of the equipments and that are used at the academy. We have the plates, the balls, and since in the academy we have 3 different categories. We have the U9 category, which would use a size 4 ball, which would be this ball right here.
So that's the smallest ball of the
this is not the smallest ball.
Okay.
This is a size 4. We're going with the U. This is the U9, and the U11 would use this size of ball.
Okay.
And we would have the U13 that would be using the regular size 5 ball to play. But remember, it's an academy, and the academy is ages 5 to 13. So we have a space between the 5-year-olds and the 7-year-olds, and they would use this size 3 balls. So we brought the 3 balls, the size that we use at the academy, and it's for development. And since it's for development, we cannot have a 5-year-old that barely knows how to handle a ball to be playing with this ball. It's best for them to have a smaller ball.
Gotcha.
So what we're going to do this morning is just teach you a simple passing technique. It's the most basic technique.
Where do you want me to stand?
Passing, it's inside the foot passing. You play basketball, right?
Yeah.
So some of the techniques are almost the same. Okay. For example, if I'm shooting to the basket, it's said that both feet needs to be facing the basket so I can shoot my free throw. Or when you're shooting. For soccer, for football, it's the same thing. So we'll use a size 4 ball. We'll have you over this side, facing the goal. Yes. So again, we have both. You have your kicking foot and your pivot foot.
Yeah.
So you're right-footed or left-footed?
I'm right-footed.
You're right-footed. So your right foot would be the kicking foot.
Yeah.
And your left foot would be the
foot?
Yes, the pivot foot, or the foot that will give direction to the ball.
Okay.
So if I want
to kick too close to the ball.
Yes. So if I want to kick the ball into this direction, it's important that, and I'm right-footed, it's important that your left foot is always facing the goal where you're kicking the ball.
Yeah.
Yes. Now it cannot be too close. It has to be at least 6 inches away from the ball.
All right.
And we're going to hit the ball with the inside of our foot, which is this part of the foot. All right.
Like the instep?
The instep. Not the instep, but the inside of the foot. The instep would be on this side. And we use the instep for shooting more than passing.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right? So, for example,
I'm passing to him, right?
No, you're passing the ball into the goal.
Oh, okay.
Now we have a game at the academy that the kids tend to run, put up the cone, and the first kid to knock over 3 cones win the game.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
So it's a activation game that we have, but you're working passing and you're working a little physical. We won't have you run this morning, but we will do the passing drill that you could pass the ball into the goal, right? Hitting one of the cone. right? You could hit any cone, but it has to be in the goal. So
all right, so I'm just kicking at this point, right?
Yes, kicking at this point with the inside of your foot, right? Yes, so that would be a goal. And again, the reason why we put up the cones is for it to help you and help the kids with direction.
Okay.
And we put the cone because, again, we have two drills. One would be hitting the cone, and one would be just like what you did, scoring the goal without hitting the goal. So we're working on passing, and not only passing, but precision passing.
Gotcha.
Right? Zaven, could you help me, Zaven?
Okay, let me stand.
Could you help me?
Guys?
Could you pass the ball into the goal for me? Right, so that's it. Zaven, most of the time our players, what we ask our players to do is that we want to hit, move what size Zaven? We want the ball to hit on the inside, on this side.
Okay.
Yes, so that's away from the goalkeeper. So it's a transition process. So for example, these are some of the techniques that are taught at the academy, and we hope people in Belmopan and surrounded would come out and join us starting Monday.
Nice. Let me throw it back to Sabrina real quick.
All right, Isani, you got potential. I'll give you that. Well, that does it for this conversation. We will be taking another quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we will be joined by Loretto Pelayo, and he's going to be talking about his latest jazz concert.
My name is Leomar Langsert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offered, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy 8. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Greater Belize Media introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs in Greater Belize Media prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Greater Belize Media Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
In our world that's always changing, one thing stays the same.
Our promise as Smart Belize to keep you connected.
Connected to the moments, the people, and the future that matter most.
With every new tower, our service upgrades, and every new smile, we're keeping our promise in building more than a network.
We're building a future, a family as Smart Belize. From Punta Gorda to Carrizal, we are here not just as a network, but as your partner in progress.
We have grown significantly over the past 20 years, and we just keep growing. Thank you for placing your trust in us. We remain dedicated to providing meaningful connections that bring value in every way that matters to you. We continue to bring people together.
It's time to wake up, move, and feel amazing. Get your heart pumping and your energy flowing with Morning Boost, a fun and dynamic workout show to kickstart your day. Whether you're a beginner or a fitness pro, we've got the moves to keep you motivated. So grab your mat, set your alarm, and let's get moving. Morning Boost, weekdays at 6 a.m., only on Greater Belize Media.
Beautiful. Wow, that was stunning. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We have here with us Loretto Pelayo. He's the band leader. Nathan Graybeal on the saxophone over there. We have Russell Hall on the double bass and Josh Herrera on the drums. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. I remember it was just about a couple months ago, we had only you, Loretto. And so it's a pleasure having you here with the entire team to talk about your latest jazz concert that's set to take place here in July, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it's really just amazing to get to play with these guys. Like, it's kind of a dream come true in a way, because like, you know, in Belize we don't have jazz here, we don't have a lot of music here. And you know, like Russell, I'd see him on like different videos on YouTube, and like to me that was just like you know, like this guy that I'll never get to meet, I'll never get to play him. Like for me, he's like the Paul Chambers of today.
Wow.
And like when I listen to people on the bass, like he's on like every record that I listen to. And so like, you know, I would implore the Belizean people to just come out to hear Russell, come out to hear Nathan, and like, you know, support this like developing scene in Belize, because this concert is more than just like a time to spend your night. Like, I think this is like music that a lot of people have never heard live before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like the level that these guys are playing is like so high that, you know, like if they're not coming out to when we play normally, they should at least come out this night. because it's so great.
I think that's what I really want to highlight in the short time that we have here. Of course, you guys are familiar with Loretto. He's been here. We've had great conversations about bringing jazz on the scene here in Belize. And so just because we don't have much time, I do want to get into the two newer faces that we are seeing in your performance right now. We have here with us Nathan Graybeal. I believe he was here a few months ago when we were talking about, I remember you explaining to me the concept of using like video game soundtrack or the sounds that you'd hear, and then that kind of is connected in the performance that we were going to hear from the concert. But also Russell Hall, who's also pretty big on social media, just as much as Nathan. Talk about connecting with these guys and being able to bring them to Belize.
Yeah, really, it's not that complicated. Like, I knew Nathan from some, online stuff. And then Nathan just sent me Russell's email, and I reached out. And
easy as that, no?
Yeah, but like I was like, Russell's from Jamaica. He might really love Belize, and like everywhere we go, he's like, man, this reminds me of home. Man, this reminds me of home. And that just like makes me so happy, like that he could like enjoy the place, enjoy the vibe, because I like sharing Belize with other people. I think it's a great place, and so it's fun,
All right. Well, Russell, what has the experience been like so far here in Belize? I hear Loretto saying it's very similar to Jamaica, but what has the hospitality been like, and what do you hope to share with people that come to the concert?
Oh, well, first and foremost, thank you, Loretto, for bringing me here. I never, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a zoologist or a marine biologist, so conservation is a huge part of my life and my work. So coming here is, a dream come true. The biodiversity is what it is, and the people are so similar. I think it's the most similar accent that I've ever heard to Jamaican accent.
We get it a lot.
It's kind of crazy. It messed me up. I was. Wow.
I'll tell you this though, it's the Jamaican accent that's so similar to the Belizean accent, not the other way around.
All right, well, I'll buy into that. But regardless, the hospitality of the people, the warmth, the beauty of the country, and we went to a waterfall yesterday and a zoo, and it was just amazing to see, a country that exists like this, and being able to bring my gifts to a place like this. I travel all the time, and I go all over the world all the time, Asia, Europe, what have you, and to be able to come here and bring music to, people that I would consider to be my people, that means something much deeper than just, playing any concert in New York or in Europe or something. So,
what about you, Nathan?
You're returning to Belize now.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels
What
great.
has your experience been like?
Oh, I love it. One, everyone sort of looks like me, so I feel like everyone could be a brother or a cousin. And I'm loving the nature. Like yesterday, Loretto just took me to a waterfall. This is my first time in a waterfall. I'm getting bitten up, but it's all worth it, And I've just been loving it. It's all the nature. Even yesterday we saw some birds, and like he said, Russell's is an aspiring zoologist, and so it's pretty cool to see him in his element there.
So the concert is set to take place what date, and how can we get tickets?
It's this Friday. It's July 4th. No relation to American independence. It will be at the Ramada in the Screen 1 Theater. Tickets are $100 for the full show from 7 p.m. To a bit after 10. There's a 45-minute intermission in between. And so we're also selling tickets by the set. So the first set from 7 p.m. until the intermission is $60. The second set from like around 9 p.m. to the end is $60. And they could get tickets either in person at CY's Music Store, or they could message the Facebook page Loretto Pelayo Quartet, and I'll just bring the tickets to them.
All right, fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much. This has been a beautiful way to close off the show, and so we want to thank you guys so much, and also wish you guys all the best for this Friday. We do have to wrap up at this time though, and so we want to say also a huge thank you to all of our other guests who joined us this morning, and also you guys for tuning in with us. It is June 2nd.
Yes, it is.
And if you're July 2nd, and if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to ya. And if you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook, that's Open Your Eyes BZ, as well as Instagram for behind-the-scenes contents, that's OIE Belize. You can even text us or call us on our OIE phone number, that's 675-2555. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
Have a wonderful Wednesday, Belize. We'll see you soon.
Take it away, guys.
Yeah, Billy's bunks again. Yeah, sure.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and SMART, bringing people together.